1 2 1 2 microphone check. 1 2 boom 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 boom. Is audio on YouTube okay? Let me check that. 1 2 1 2. On YouTube it is okay. And on Twitch, how it is on Twitch? It works okay as well. Alright, alright, alright. So, the stream officially starts now. Thankfully, it's not as hot as it used to be in my room. So we should be okay. We should be okay. So, here we are, another stream from yours truly, Ado. I'm a professional game developer working in this industry for almost 10 years. In February it will be 10. And I work as a senior gameplay programmer, day in and day out. And these streams are meant to be focusing on covering blind spot and learning new shit. Because I truly believe that you become a better developer when you are reaching out to the skill sets that are outside of your regular curriculum, I would say. Right now I have a series going on connected to game design, in particular about primary action design. I already did a couple of parts about that. And last week I had a week off because I was on vacation in Gdańsk. And I was hoping that I could have the stream that I'm doing today, that I could do it last week, but the hotel Wi-Fi wasn't suited for live streaming. Maybe just for, you know, streaming from phone and just talking shit. These type of streams, yeah, it could probably handle that. But the stream during which you are supposed to look at my screen and see all the text and numbers, it wasn't meant to be last week. So I'm taking a pause in game design stream this week, and this stream will be connected to plugin, or should I say to algorithm, that I wanted to dig into a little bit more, and especially how to use it in Unreal Engine, called Wave Function Collapse. That can be shortened to WFC. It is a type of algorithm that is in video game industry used for generating lots of things. Like for example, you could generate, remember this old school Windows 98, I think, 95, 98 screensaver with the infinite pipes that are constantly spawned in, showed around, connecting to each other with different colors, etc, etc. That can be generated with wave function collapse. Infinite cities, it's been done. Wave function collapse once again. And instead of just talking about what could be done with it, how about I just launch a game and just show you the effects of wave function collapse. The best game that shows you how it works is the indie game called Townscaper. You can buy it on Steam and other places. And let me quickly turn it on. And it doesn't show up on the screen. Oh yeah, it does show up on the screen. Here is Townscaper. Let me create like a completely new city. And from what I understood, doing a little research on the internet, the Townscaper uses exactly what I'm trying to show you today. Wave function collapse. Let me just play this game for a little bit so you can see the effects of wave function collapse, and then I will go back to Paint and tell you how it works on a high level of understanding. Not high level of understanding, high level of overview. When I press mouse, it generates one tile of something interesting, and another tile, and another tile. And you can see how they are connecting to each other seamlessly. And I can generate some yellow or some maybe blue tiles here. Oh no, I cannot. These are only tiles that are creating floor. But what if I click on something that I already generated? Ah, a blue house. What if I click on the side of it? It stretches. It stretches once again. Perfect representation of wave function collapse. It just constantly is able to generate the things that you need. For example, right here I can click on the side of thing, on the side of the wall, and it will generate this fragment of a house that is hanging over the water but is being supported with some pillars. Or I can click on top of the building, and it just builds something that is higher, and I can just click through it constantly, and it will always create something that makes sense. As you saw, I clicked the side of the building on a high floor, and it automatically created a house with the support pillars underneath. I click it here, it extends things, while at the same time changing stuff beneath this house. I can extend it further, extend it here. It will constantly generate something that makes sense. And you can just start basically painting this little town, this port town. And with each click, the algorithm, wave function collapse, knows exactly what could be randomly spawned in a given place that I click. With each click, it knows exactly what to spawn in. It can spawn in details. It knows that, for example, if I add some house here, it spawned automatically these doors with something to climb on to get to these doors. The algorithm knows all of that. And if you never heard of wave function collapse, like I haven't heard it at some point and wasn't reading about it, you might be thinking, what kind of fucked up mathematics and analysis needs to be done in order for the algorithm to know exactly what it should spawn in here, and maybe even in the surrounding areas, right? How does it know what to choose when I click here? How does the selection comes about? You can just almost infinitely stretch it out and build shit like this, thanks to this awesome algorithm. So we can already see and it can even modify already existing stuff. Yeah, it created, you see, those supports, so it makes sense. It constantly reevaluates every building around in order to decide what should be built here. Let's try to connect these. Can we connect it? Yep, we did connect it. it automatically connected the bottom house with the top house, creating one long thing. And this game is using wave function collapse. No matter where I click, something that makes sense will be spawned, generated. You could easily programmatically, instead of me clicking where something needs to be spawned, you could just use, you know, some program to fake my mouse button clicks and start randomly painting those cities around. Here we will have this big ass tower, right? And another. And this is the town that we created with wave function collapse. And the computer could do the work for me. It could just take some random seed, use it as a generation seed, and start populating this area by itself. So how all of this fucked up mathematics that are going on here are working? Well, it's easier than you might be thinking. For real. It's way easier. The history of that is kind of funny, at least that's how I understand it. That someone was looking at the wave function from quantum physics and realized, but if I input some game level data here, it could generate me some levels or something like this. And I'm always in awe of people who can look at something from physics and think about, okay, it represents quantum physics, or it represents some other theoretical physics stuff, and apply different data to it and somehow come up with the algorithm for generation. That's what happened here. So how does it all work underneath? There are couple of good explanations, like really in detail explanations that I have links for. Let me quickly copy it for y'all convenience. Here's one. Here is another one if you really want to dig deep and look at some other examples of this shit, of wave function collapse. And another one. I have two examples here where someone was creating an infinite city in Unity with wave function collapse. Those links contain super detailed info. But let me quickly jump ahead into Paint, my favorite goddamn program on earth. My cable management, my fucked up cable management. I wish I have more of a real estate, but then again, I cannot afford real estate. So, wave function collapse. Oh, well, this is some ugly ass brush. Wave function collapse. How this algorithm works, really. Let's take 2D space as an example. If we were to represent all of our world as a grid, we get some cells to work with, right? Each of these really fucked up squares represents some cell in a grid. We can pick an origin point. Let's say, for example, here. Here is our origin. And let's say, for example, this is a 2D map of possible biomes with certain resources. So, the way wave function collapse can generate the whole map for us, in that case, works like this. We have a definition of one specific tile. Let's call it grass. And it features, I cannot write, it features grass resources. This is our tile, and we can spawn it here as a first thing, right? Now, just spawning singular tile doesn't do anything really, but what's more important is that each tile has 4 neighbors in our 2D square grid example. 4 neighbors. 1 neighbor to the north, 1 to the west, 1 to the east, and 1 to the south. So, with our definition of grass, we're not only defining that, hey, there is a tile called grass and it has these resources, we can define what kind of neighbors it can have to the north, to the east, to the south, and to the west. For example, we can define that, hey, to the north, it can always have a border with water. To the east as well. To all of directions. In all of directions we can have some water. In all of directions we could also have some rough space, to borrow the terminology from golf. I cannot write for shit. Okay. Rough. And let's say for some reason we have a biome with pink trees that are giving us some cherry blossom resources, but they can only be encountered on the east border and on the south border for some reason. But north border cannot ever have grass, north border of grass cannot ever have pink tile, and the west also cannot have pink tile. Let's say that. And this is our definition of our grass tile. We define what's the tile and how many neighbors it can have. In our case, it's 4. And in each direction, north, west, east, or south, we define what kind of neighbors it can have. So when we go back to our whole world, when we get back to our whole world and we spawned in our first tile in the origin point called green, we need to decide what tiles we will be spawning as neighbors, and that's where randomization kicks in, because we can, for north direction, north neighbor, we can randomly select between water or rough. Let's say we spawned water here, and the next selection came out for the south, and also water was chosen. Then next to the east, rough was spawned in, and to the west, pink. Not pink, it cannot be pink, sorry. Maybe let's change it a little bit. Let's say pink spawned here, and rough spawned here. Now, what happens next? We need to generate tiles for neighbors of our water tiles and pink and rough tiles. That's where the algorithm looks at the definition, for example, of a rough tile. It looks at definition of that and it wants to see what kind of neighbors are possible to the north, to the west, to the south, and of course to the east. And there can be lots of additional data here about will it be water, rough, pink, etc. So additional neighbors can be spawned in, but here's a catch. Here's a big catch though. There can be an inconsistency in data, in your definitions and in my definitions, right? For example, let's say rough on the north can only spawn pink. This is the only tile that it can spawn. But water, let's create a definition for water tile. Water to the west can only spawn another rough or green, but never pink. So when the algorithm goes through those neighbors, it sees, hey, water, I can randomly select between rough and green. But for rough, north, I can only select pink. There's an inconsistency. Such cell cannot be populated with any data available to me. So the algorithm tells you, hey, no, there's an inconsistency. Now, what should happen now? It really depends on the implementation of the algorithm. You can either, for example, include the number of attempts, right? At generating. For example, you will say, hey, try to generate it 3 times. And when it starts to generate, it generates the green at the beginning. It decides, oh, there's an inconsistency here in northwest region. Okay, scratch all of that generation. Let's do a second attempt with the same seed. For example, 1337. Let's change only the original tile to, for example, water. And let's populate everything again until it finds another inconsistency. If it finds another, then let's populate the origin cell with rough. And let's see if we can populate the world that way. After a specific amount of attempts, what can happen is the algorithm can basically just change the seed. Okay, for this seed and this number of attempts, it cannot work out. So you can change the number of attempts. So it will try to do it 10 times for given seed. Or you can change the seed, or you as a designer or as a gameplay developer can just try to detect, okay, where's the inconsistency? Fuck, I'm having way too many times a situation where water is to the east of a given tile, a rejected tile, and rough is to the south of a rejected tile, because there's no data that can encompass this situation. Let me add this data to west of water, and add some additional data to the north of rough, so I will delete this inconsistency. So you can either increase the number of attempts, change seed, or change your data set if it makes sense, because if it doesn't, you can just log what seed you had been on and how many attempts, and you can, for example, in your generative program, you can ban this seed completely from being ever selected, because it creates some fucked up world. It creates this world that cannot be really created. And that's all there is to it for the wave function collapse. Really, quite simple, right? You have one tile, grass, you have definitions of what neighbors can be next to it, to the north, west, east, or south, what can be logically added here, and you start populating your 2D world full of grid. And you start to try to find inconsistencies. If there's no inconsistency, great, you generated a 2D world with the rules that you set up. Each neighbors are perfectly selected. It just works out. So from developer perspective, the hardest part is, of course, creating visual assets that will match together when they are placed near each other, and the gameplay logic of things. Like, for example, hey, I don't want to have a tile that is water, grass, water, rough in this biome because it just doesn't make sense. So you need to set up your data in such way that the world that you generate will make sense. But after you code it, such algorithm for wave function collapse to deal with the data that you provide, or use the plugin, which I intend to do in Unreal Engine, you really need to worry about data and the visual correctness of things. And that's kinda it. That's all. Ain't none to it. You can just start generating shit. I heard some long time ago that wave function collapse is being supported by Unreal Engine as an experimental plugin. So the goal for right now is to explore this plugin and explore the examples that I hope it provides. If it doesn't, then I will be creating example out of my ass. And if there will be examples and there will be time, I will try to generate something on my own. I have some idea what it could be, but we will see. Let me sit down for a second, but let me put my trusty tablet to the side and manage my cables better. Shit, if I will ever get, you know, like an apartment, a house of my own that I actually would own, I swear to God, I will spend a lot of time of thinking of some smart cable management. This always have been a pain in the ass. Even when I was still making, you know, music and I was in charge of my home studio, music studio, or right now just my game developer workspace. And it ain't about, oh, I don't have enough space, because I had big fucking tables. Not tables. That was a Polish translation. Tables. Big desks. And I still couldn't manage those cables right. So I need to find some smart solutions for all of that shit. Because I'm having audio, video equipment in here, I really need to find some smart solutions here. And I don't want to have a big ass desk just to manage my cables. It seems like a waste. And here in Poland, we don't have too much real estate as you know, in other countries. So I have to be smart about it. So let's look at Unreal Engine, our favorite goddamn thing. Where is it? Here. I went ahead, turned on my project that has all of my experiments with plugins, and I turned on the wave function collapse already. If you don't know how to turn on wave function collapse plugin, you just go into plugins, edit, plugins, wave function, and you toggle wave function collapse as enabled. It will prompt you to restart your editor, which is something that you should do. And let's search for my goddamn folder with plugins. Here it is. If you don't see the engine content and plugins, you should go to settings, and then you should go to show engine content and show plugin content. Then those engine folders and plugin folders with content should show up. Alright, where's this motherfucker? Wave function collapse, yes, content. We have sample buildings and sample pipes. So we have two samples here. One is the one that I was talking about at the beginning, that you could generate those pipes that are kind of looking like this Windows A98 screensaver. And sample buildings, this is also a great case when you can just create some modular buildings that are easily attachable to each other, and just generate some city out of it. And we have some core folder, which I don't know what it has. Let me take a peek. Some special options, okay. Okay. Oh, editor utility widget. That is cool. It means that this plugin has its own editor. If I click right on it and run editor utility widget, I will have something here. I have some some new editor popped up for wave function collapse. Let me maybe turn on some new level, like new basic level. Let's create that. And what will happen here? There's some output and input, some model, which would describe the exact model of data that you are using to generate things, I assume. Some resolution, because we have 3D space, so just like in our paint example, here was 2D world and square grid with square cells. In 3D space, it will be voxel world, full of cubes, kind of like Minecraft, right? And resolution, I guess, tells you how many how many cube voxels will be used for generation. Those three numbers are probably X, Y, and Z axis. So we will have 3 voxels, square voxels in the X axis, 3 voxels in Y axis, and 3 voxels in Z axis. This is some variable that tells us that empty borders, empty voxels can be spawned, I guess. Try count. Oh, that's great. Try count and random seed. That's exactly what I was talking about here. Number of attempts to generate something and what seed it should use. This is a very useful menu. So what? I can just select whatever they have here, like for example buildings, put in my random seed and click collapse to generate something, and it did generate something. I need to dock that window somewhere. Like let me dock it here. It did generate me some building, some funny looking building. And if I change my seed, it will be a completely different building. Let me just move that one to the right. I wonder if I click collapse, it will delete this one and create new one. I wouldn't want that. I want it to constantly spawn new shit for me. It spawned some new shit for me. And then the next magic number, this is the magic number for Polish people, 2137. 100% people don't realize outside of Poland. What does it mean? Let me move this shit aside. Yep, another building. Or what if I increase the number of my resolution? Let's say I want to have it 6, 6, and 6. It generated some weird ass building for me. Let me move that one to the side. This is like one whole building. I wonder what kind of type it is. It is some actor called W wave function collapse model sample bindings for, and it just contains scene root with some instant static meshes. Oh, so it already takes care of optimization. It just doesn't spawn static meshes and that's it. It uses instant static meshes and then has instances of it. That's really fucking good. Alright. I don't know what this input does. Aha, okay, I think I get it. When we already have built our model, we can just use the output tab here and just constantly generate shit. Here, we can, I think, create models. So use the asset here and just add some data here and append it to a model. Cool, cool, cool. That's really cool. Okay, so let's look right now through their samples. Let's go to pipes and let's turn on pipes. Don't save it. Oh hell yeah. This is some Windows 98 shit. All of these has been generated with wave function collapse. Look at this beautiful bastard. Lots of tubes that make sense. Nothing is hanging randomly in the air by alone, like we don't have short non-connected fragments of tubes. Everywhere it starts you can always go somewhere with it. That's awesome. And here are other examples of some simpler made stuff. Okay, so let's look maybe through. There's lots of meshes. Okay, lots of good meshes. And let's look how the model of our wave function collapse will work for pipes. Okay, first things first, we have tile size, which tells us how big our voxel is, which in this case is 100 units by 100 units by 100 units. And now let's look at constraints. Our first, okay, these constraints I guess are the things that can be spawned, things that can be generated in wave function collapse wording. It will be things that can be collapsed, but let's use the word generated, spawned, etc. We can have some empty going on. It has the amount of times an option is present when deriving a model. This value is used to calculate its weight. Ah, how much it contributes to the whole fucking thing. So this, I guess, dictates and weight how often the empty can be selected. And as I said, you have all those borders, which for 3D space, instead of being north, west, east, south, it will be x-axis to the front, x-axis to the back, y-axis to the left, y-axis to the right, z-axis up, and z-axis down. Let's see. So, to the front of our spawned option empty, we can have 16 possible neighbors. Let's look what the neighbor look like. It can be another empty, of course, mesh. It can be some pipe and some other pipe, I guess, and some other pipe. Yeah, you can specify all the neighbors that can be to the front of the empty option. Barabash Hardy, hi! Pipes are great. I agree. But we'll be generating something different in a second. Have you been at the beginning when I was showing the game Townscaper and how it uses this algorithm, wave function collapse? Nope, just joined. So maybe I, can quickly go back to Steam and replay this. Basically, wave function collapse is an algorithm that allows you to set up your generation in a super simple way. The best example of that is an indie game called Townscaper. Let's create a new town. Our world is divided in grids, and just by clicking things we spawn some shit here. And thanks to the algorithm being awesome, it always spawns something that is correct. If right now I click to the side of the building, it will spawn something that already has a support, pillars, etc, etc. You can really get lost in creating towns in that way. Yup. Barabash Hardy says, damn, looks nice. Exactly. And from what I gathered on the internet, I hope internet doesn't lie. I mean, internet never lies, right? It uses wave function collapse to generate those results. Barabash Hardy says, testing this had to be nightmare. Aha! And here's a catch. It didn't need to be, because the mathematics, or should I say, the algorithm, works in a simple way. And maybe I will jump back once again into explanation of that whole shit. And that way you will see how easily you can set up tests to see if it makes fucking sense. For some part of it. There is other part of it that is nightmare. Let's imagine 2D world. Let's divide it into square grid. Right? This is our 2D world and a square grid. Grid. Let me quickly destroy this shit. And maybe let's clean up a little bit here. Or maybe don't. No, I can work with that. And we want to start generating shit in this 2D world, right? So we have tiles here, and each tile has a definition. For example, we have green grass tile that contains some resources or whatever gameplay information. But the definition carries also the most important thing, which are the neighbors. What neighbors can be spawned to the north, south, east, and west of our grass? And for example, we could choose that in the north we can always sample water tile or rough tile, to borrow the terminology from golf. To the west it's water and also rough. To the east it's water rough, but for some reason pink tile that can spawn cherry blossoms, and for some reason to the south also pink tiles can be spawned in, right? So when our algorithm decides to generate shit, we can pick the cell of origin and decide, hey, it's going to be a green tile. Then the algorithm has to go through each neighbor and see what can be randomly selected. And for example, it selected randomly, hey, to the north it will be water tile, to the east it will be pink tile, to the south let's select from water, rough, pink, it will be water, and to the west it will be west or rough, water or rough, let's select rough. Then the algorithm will go to other cells and try to see what kind of neighbors it can spawn. Our rough, for example, have some data to the west, east and south, but on the north side it can only spawn our pink cherry blossom tile. And our water tile to the west, it can only spawn rough and green. So what happens here, the algorithm will flag that, hey, for this seed, which is 1337, for our first attempt, I cannot generate anything. There is an inconsistency. There is no tile that can belong as a neighbor, as a west neighbor of water and north neighbor of rough. So in a way it kind of takes care of testing itself, because you can just create tests, automatic tests that are testing seeds and the number of attempts at which some inconsistency will be found and flagged, because there is nothing that could be generated here. So that part is covered and can be automatically tested, right? Because we'll be generating stuff and changing, for example, what's being spawned in the origin point. That's where the number of the attempts come to play. We chosen 1337 seed. The first attempt, we got some inconsistency here. Okay, let's start again, once again from the origin point, but instead of green, we will spawn rough patch of terrain. And let's see if going from there and going cell by cell, we can generate cells that have correct neighbors until we find another inconsistency. Okay, the next attempt. Let's spawn pink first in our origin point. And let's go cell by cell and see if we can generate all of this shit. And if after a couple of attempts, let's for example say 3, we will have no inconsistencies, great. It will tell us, hey, for the seed 1337, the third attempt where we spawned pink as first is something that generates no inconsistencies. If there is nothing that satisfies the algorithm, there will be you can just change the seed and just go to the next one, and you could easily create a list of forbidden seeds and the amount of attempts to generate world. The part that would be nightmarish, as you said, would be to test if the data here that is being, you know, created by humans, if it does make sense. Because let's go back to Unreal Engine. Let me kill the game real quick. Let's go back to Unreal Engine. We are dealing here with 3D space. We have all those fucking pipes, right? Because it's a 3D space instead of 2D, we are dealing with voxels, not squares. Cube voxels, right? So, what happens here is that we have, in this example of pipes, lots of meshes, right? Some artists went out their way and created meshes and even color-coded the edges of each fragment of pipe, so the blue can belong to blue, etc, etc. So it will be way easier to input the data for that. Here's our data, in which we can just select random elements that can be spawned, like for example pipe and Z. This is something that looks like this and has a blue bottom edge, right? And that's the part that is hard to test automatically, and that's something that could be nightmarish for, you know, human QA testing, where you have to go through such data and see, okay, did someone who was creating this data describe the correct neighbors that go to the front of this pipe? Is there some inconsistency here for the neighbors that can be selected? And you need to find, like, oh, to the front it can be this, to the back it can be this, right? And someone would have to go through all of this and constantly be aware of the spatial situation here and decide whether or not it makes sense. So that part would be nightmarish, because it would be like looking through the big ass Excel spreadsheet and trying to find some inconsistency. That part is nightmarish, because that's human driven and human makes errors. Computer makes errors too, but these errors are way harder to catch. But what might happen in automatic testing, those inconsistencies that I was speaking about, might show up all the time, and it might log out the information that, hey, for given cell with this data, this grass data, I'm constantly detecting that when it is neighboring to water and rough tile, it cannot generate anything. And that's where you can maybe scope a little bit better and focus on specific data that is constantly causing inconsistencies. So that's what this whole asset describes, really. That, hey, I have this element and all directions, to the front, to the back, to the right, to the left, up and down, can be what kind of neighbors it can have. Clicking through this seems nightmarish in 3D space. But someone did click through this and could generate all of this shit. And let's see if, yeah, where our menu for wave function collapse. Barabash Hardy says, to the front, to the back, to the windows, to the wall, till sweat drop down my balls. All them be my crow. Ah, skeet, 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 ah, skeet, 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 skeet. God damn. And now I will be hit with some kind of, what is this thing called? Copyright law or whatever. Thank you. And I gotta ask, am I really talking to Barabash Hardy or someone taking a hold of his account? I'm wondering. I'm wondering. The one and only. I have my doubts. Since last time, I have my doubts. Okay, let's select this pipes data. And let's click create 6 by 6 by 6. And let's use 666 random seed. People don't realize, but that's true, Barabar says. Hell yeah. Yeah, I click collapse, which basically means generate, and the nomenclature of wave function collapse algorithm. And it created those nice pipes. And now you could go into discussion of logics. Does this shit, does that pipe not being connected to something up and bottom make sense? In my opinion it doesn't, but whoever was implementing that decided, nah, we just want to show the visuals. Probably. Let's not think too hard on that. Or maybe there is some logic to it, I don't know. Yeah, but these are kind of similar pipes to the Windows 98 screensaver. Sorry for that. Bless me. Yeah, so let's go to the building sample. And just as I was showing previously, you can generate some buildings here. Why someone use that sun for that? All different kinds of buildings using that. Let's look through the data of that stuff. There are a shitload of meshes prepared. That can be chosen. There are materials for these things, and there is the data that contains all of the information I was talking about here. Hey, I have a voxel. Here are my neighbors to the front, to the back, to the left, to the right, to up and down. And these will be meshes. Oh, whole Unreal hanged out. That's freaking great. Oh! It kinda hanged while loading it because it was loading 126 elements. Holy mother of fuck. And the tile size is 300 units, so it's bigger, baby. It's a big motherfucker. Let's choose something more interesting than empty. Empty is not interesting at all. Oh my god. What kind of nightmare it had to be to click through all this data by hand. Barabash Hardy asks, is it also powerful, motherfucker? Like one of the famous engines? Nothing can be as powerful as that one engine that shall not be named. Because technically I still have NDA. Yeah. Imagine you have to select this mesh. Okay, what kind of neighbors this mesh can have? To the front, to the back, up, down, left, right. And you are clicking through this agency options map. And hey, front neighbors. It can have 5 neighbors. And you have to click through all of that shit. But you know what's the best part of it? Is you don't need to understand any hardcore mathematics. There's no mathematics for you as a developer to think about here. You just need to generate content, meshes, actors, or whatever. Click through this whole data table, click collapse, and it will start working. So that's really cool for generation, right? You can generate the infinite city. I already pasted the link for that, but let me paste it once again. How someone used the wave function collapse in Unity to generate infinite city. Here it is, the link. And what else? Yeah, and then you decide, okay, what are the front options? What are the back options? There are 5 back options as neighbors, etc, etc, etc. For each possible element. And we have 126 elements here possible. Fuck me sideways. But after you input all of that, isn't it cool to just, you know, create new level, just go to our menu, choose the model, choose the size, resolution, 10, 10 and 10 in each axis. Do not use empty border. Use the 666. Click collapse and wait for the thing to generate. We'll see if it was able to generate anything. There might be some inconsistency in data. Nothing spawned. Let's check at the output. Look at the output log. What the flying fuck happened? Yup. It encountered contradiction. Index 310. Failed the value. Attempt number 2. Attempt number 3. I told you that it will log contradictions and inconsistencies. It found a contradiction and couldn't generate it like this. But what if we click with empty borders? Will it be able to generate something for us? Once again, no. Let's change to the magical number of 2137. Will it be able to generate something? It did generate! We have our holy building. This is what holy building looks like. And that's cool. And you can move it around, blah blah blah. Change the seed once again to 1337, another magical number. Click collapse. We'll see if it will be able to generate something for us. It did, once again. It did. Hell freaking yeah. Hell freaking yeah. It would be a shame if I didn't said anything about this, because let me quickly show you something. When you are working with 2D space, this is one of the links that I pasted through. You don't have to click through such complicated data yourself. You can just create a small bitmap here, and some implementations of algorithms, like the one here from MXGMN, if that's how you pronounce that. It can analyze your bitmap here and automatically deduce what kind of neighbors each tile can have. And out of that, it can generate different possibilities while still maintaining your design intent. You see? That's really cool. Oh, it shows the population here. How things are being populated. This is really in-depth look into how wave function collapse works. I really recommend you this read. Let me paste the link once again. In 3D space, though, you probably could sample some 3D mesh and deduce what can be neighbored to what out of that. Probably. I never done something like this. But in reality, how would you describe this space? Yeah, it would need some additional descriptors to do it. And it should probably be done on the mesh level. But for the gameplay sense, if we are not just generating some random bullshit, but we want to have something with gameplay, we need to click through all of this data, as I said. Can I also like maybe put it here? Great. So that's wave function collapse. Goodbye. Nah, just fucking with you. Even closing down this asset takes time. Damn, this asset is big as fuck. Ain't nothing better when you're a game developer to wait for your engine. Fucking shit. Okay. So, knowing that, and basically I just need to click through some data, make sure that the borders make sense. I want to do something. Barabash Hardy says thick asset. Exactly. I like big assets and I cannot lie. Other people cannot deny. This is so stupid. Yeah, so what I want to do right now, or at least attempt to do in this stream, we will see if I will manage to finish it on this stream. I kind of want to do a 2D world, as I said. Bum bum, miasto zatkało mnie, znowu to miasto zatkało mnie. Bum 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 bum. I also want to do the 2D world, but I kind of want to do something inspired by Civilization. I won't be doing hexagonal world. In order to do that, I would probably need to create a new plugin that will derive from this plugin and change some code to incorporate hexagonal cells and mathematics. Barabash Hardy asks, zatkało or zalało? Depends where you live. Here, where I live, it's zatkało. I heard in Wilanów in Warsaw, it's zalało. So, what I want to do... All I want to do is do my zoom, 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 blah, 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 blah. Yo, what you want to do? Now, what I want to do here is create this kind of like map, 2D map, that will have a green tile, grass tile with some resources, some raft tile with some other resources, water tiles, etc., etc. Kind of like a, you know, 2D world for strategy game. That's kind of what I intend to work out here. And see how quickly you can click through it. But I don't want to make assets here. So I will help myself with the epics. Oh my god, let me hide this shit. With the epics stuff. Because every month they are releasing a couple of marketplace packages for free. And I really recommend you as a developer to every month visit Epic Games Marketplace for Unreal and adds those free things, because then your library, let me quickly maybe go here. Your library is full of free assets that you can just use for your project if you would ever need something. And that's exactly what I intend to do right now. I need some stylized assets. Stylized assets. Stylized dynamic nature. Let's look at this shit. Oh, perfect assets to generate some levels. Love this shit. And I got this for free. How can I not love this? Let me add this to... What the fuck? What's the name of my project actually? Test the... I think that's it. But I think I need to turn off the editor for that. So let me quickly turn that off. Let me quickly add this to the project. It will quickly download this shit while I'll ask you, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are your animals? And let me quickly grab a snack. I'll be back in a second while I'm asking you to tell me how are your animals are doing. Alright, I'm back with my snack. Alright. What about Hardy says? They're fine. Kinda for now. Something happens to them all the time. But that's what happens when you don't keep them as prisoners in the house all the time. That's some real life shit, ain't it? Smacznego, thank you. So I gather you're not in favor of having a big ass dog in 20-meter square apartment. Okay. It got added to the project. Let me relaunch the project. But Harley says, kinda not really. Yeah. Some random asset was opened. Okay. Let's look at our thing that we just added. What the fuck? What was that accent? Let's turn the demo. But about how it says, keeping the dog inside the small prison on the outside is also shitty. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be stuck in any of those situations. But what the fuck can I say? I don't own anything. I don't own a house. But about Hardy says, have you changed something in the stream settings? I can finally curse for fuck's sake. Yep, I turned off all the moderation. So you can talk like a normal, regular human being right now. Until something fucked up happens here, I will keep no auto moderator on. Let's turn on the demo and look at the asset package that I downloaded. Damn it, it was almost 14 years ago when me and my friends recorded the song Jestem w dupie. And back then we just recorded it about stupid situations. These days I would create a sequel sequel to the song, and it will be about mortgage situations and housing situation. I see, Barabash, you're happy about the situation. God damn, it looks beautiful. Way better than I wanted for this example that I want to do. Shout out to what? To Kobo Studio. It does kill performance though, I gotta say. Yeah, let me quickly. Oh yeah. Something's fucked. Barabash Hardy explains. For any people that don't speak Polish, the song lyrics are: I'm inside the S, I'm inside the S. S. Yep. And being inside the S in Polish language is not literal. It is a metaphor of being stuck in a very shitty place and being surrounded by shit, which can be sometimes life. Not having money for rent, your landlord being a bitch, someone cheating on you, stealing from you. Those are those situations. I love this. Oh, I even have some crystals here. And some... How is this grass? Oh, it's instant foliage actor. Okay. There's something hanging here in the air. I like these assets. Damn, for some reason this map looks for me like a Dragon Ball game. Yeah, I get a similar feeling out of this. Because it kinda looks like all those islands that they were fighting on in Cell Games Saga. And also it looks like these are the islands that could be neighboring the Roshi, Master Roshi house. Okay. These are... Yep, those rocks are looking Dragon Ball-ish. Because if I would look at it that way, then it is something different. Okay. Let's turn on the overview. There's some cinematics, okay. Don't care about cinematics right now. Okay. Generate this. Yeah, generate mesh distance fields is turned on. Okay, grass foliage shadows might produce a cleaner look, blah blah. It's not something that will be superbly released or anything like this. But I will use those assets. Those assets exactly. Birch leaves. Huh? Okay, different kinds of leaves here and there. Great. So I want to create kinda like something similar to like a 2D. The gameplay would be in 2D, but it will be a 3D game. Kinda like Civilization or something like this, with square tiled map with the wave function collapse. And we'll see how quickly we can create it. Let's also look at what the hell is this? No. Here are my meshes. There is water. There are some trees. Some different plants. Some different kinds of rocks. Some grass. Yes. We like grass. Palms are ready. Mom's spaghetti. Isn't that? Palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti. Not palms are ready. What the fuck? Plants rock. Birch. Yep. And bamboo. Okay, great. So let's think of that. I need to create new asset. Yeah, tests. Oh my god. Amazing names of assets. Level instance dupa, level instance dupa. Read data table, shit, some table. That's how you name your assets. Not. Okay, new folder. Wave function collapse. Civ like map. No hex. And let's create our data asset wave function collapse model. That's how you do it. WFC model. Civ like stuff. Okay, our tile size, yeah, it can be 100 units, I don't care. And some constraints. And now I added first element here. It needs some base object. Can I have actors? I can have actors here. Shit, I don't need to use models, because what I want to do exactly is to have those simple tiles and just change their colors and spawn things on them. But I think the spawning I might do with PCG, because these are just visual cosmetic stuff. Because I don't really care what kind of cosmetics will be spawned on the tile asset. I just need the data. Is it green? Is it yellow? Is it water or whatever? So let me create like a simple actor. Regular actor and call it BP water tile. Let's create water tile first. And if I was here, no, let me go here. Cobble nature and meshes, and here we have water mesh. Let's just add it here. It's kinda huge, I think. There was a way to like measure shit with this, but I don't think you can measure it here. How many times the song Jestem w dupie, I'm in the S will be randomly selected here? Barabash Hardy says, that's what she said. That's how I imagine you are laughing. Because I kind of want to see if it is 100 by 100, because I have a strong suspicion it's not. Let me quickly maybe grab this actor and drop it here. Drop it like it's hot. And Barabash Hardy, exactly that. I know you, man. And top perspective. And where the fuck is anything? It was called BP. What the flying fuck? It was supposed to be that tile. What the fuck are you? Top. Okay. And there was way to measure shit, but what the hell happened? It's trying my patience. Yeah, no, it's not. It's 400 by 400. And I'm not having that. But it means I just need to divide the scale by 4. And it will be 100 by 100, right? I think I need to delete this asset here. Save it here. Save on compile. It's on. Why is it not smaller? It should be static. Looks like you're in the ass with that. Yeah, I kinda am. Let me once again. Why is it still 400 even though I scaled it shit out of it? What the fuck is going on? 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 If I scale the whole shit by 400 by quarter by 4, it should be only 100 units. Yet on level it is a little bit bigger, which kind of fucking annoys me. Ah, yeah, of course, because I'm a dumb fucking motherfucker. Exactly. Exactly what you're saying, Barabbas. I just realized it, that yeah, I was using mesh, not the goddamn actor. Bane of my existence. Ado don't realize 0%. Exactly. And now my whole freaking Unreal done something. I cannot. Why I cannot move my goddamn camera or anything, or blah 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 blah. Why are you choosing this? Choose this. I just wanna. It is smaller than 100, you motherfucker. How the fuck dividing 400 by 4 gives you something smaller than 100? You bitch. Okay, I don't wanna play with this shit. It will be 400 by 400. Fuck it. Tiles will have 400 units, 4 meters. I'm not going to play with that shit right now. And what the fuck is that? Was I measuring wrong thing? I was. And it's still not correct. Ah, yeah, because I descale it like an idiot. It is 100. I was just measuring the wrong thing. That's kinda how if you were measuring certain something on your body starting from your feet. Okay, okay. Stupid mistakes like this. Let me be real with you, that's most of the stuff that I'm wasting my time on. But hard it says you are in the ass. I am on this one. If we as Polish people should export something to the rest of the world and its culture, it should be the saying, I'm in the ass with this shit. And what the fuck am I even doing here? I kinda forgot. Yeah, water tile. Water tile here. And now I have to select what neighbors it can have and where and how, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we have our water tile. Let's create a new something. It will be grass tile. And because right now I'm lazy, what will happen here, I will just delete this shit. Add just regular plane. It should be 100 by 100 by default. We can measure that. Yep, it is 1 meter, 100 units by 100 units. That's great. And it will just have green color. That is in materials here. Or here. Grass. Oh, it has this shitty material. Not shitty, but I probably cannot use it. Yep. Ah, you motherfuckers. I just wanted to use this nice green texture or color or whatever. And I cannot. Ah, you ass. Maybe I can just use bamboo. Yeah, I can use bamboo as a green tile. Great. But I'm changing the original water tile. Ah, la 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 la. So many mistakes in my life. For example, when I was born. Okay, here, grass tile. That's what I want to edit. Sometimes I'm such a dumb motherfucker. Okay, once again, let's delete this. Add plane. Let's go back to our bamboo. Not this shit, but materials, instances, plant, not plant, what the, trunk, yeah, trunk, bamboo. And let's assign our material here. That's great, we have water tile and grass tile. I can start populating level like that. Yeah, I can just quickly tell this shit that, hey, oh, it automatically selects the correct agency option. That's great. Okay, so here I want to be able to select grass tile, and another water tile can also be a neighbor. Water tile, yay. And the same for the back. Two options here. Let me just copy those options with the shift right. Yep. And then I can just do this and this, and these are the only directions that I'm interested in. 2D directions, and let me just copy it, paste it, and paste it. Hell yeah. Quickly did this. Okay. Now, let's bring up the menu for generation and let's see if we can just generate those tiles. Civ-like stuff. 0 resolution and Z-axis. Something is here. No. Where the fuck did it generate? It didn't generate anything, right? No, it did. Cannot calculate Shannon entropy. Ah, yeah, I fucked up the data. Because I have to put some weight in here. I don't know what kind of weight should be here. We have 2 elements, so I need to add another element. I forgot. BP grass style. And let me just copy this, copy here. Great. But now I need to do something with these weights. I have 2 elements, so what? Weight half and half. I'm not really sure what to do with this. Nothing generated. No, success. Spawned actor. There is an actor here. Ah ha 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 ha. No, it's not here. Why? Why is output log lying to me? Let me clear the log again. Collapse. And the output. Actor factory attempting. Some seed value and spawned actor. It is named like this. But then again, when I search for it, it is here. And it contains nothing. That's the end of the stream. Bye, guys. Nah. Not really, but I am wondering. What the fuck? I thought that if you could select actor here, it will actually spawn this fucking actor. Instead, it spawned this actor, but it doesn't have anything in it. It is just some empty actor, and I don't understand why. I really don't understand why. Let's use 666 maybe, I don't know. Collapse. Oh, we have 4 the same actors that contain nothing. That's great. That's really fucking great. Blah 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 blah. So it can really work on meshes? I don't like that notion. That I cannot just spawn gameplay actors via this. Why can't I spawn regular actors? It should just generate. Let me try it 4x4. It should just generate this actor with 4 child actors. I'm not a fan of not being able to spawn anything here. And let me maybe once again analyze the log. It might give me some ideas. Collapse, output log, actor factory attempting to spawn class script engine class actor. Another blah 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 actor is spawned class as actor log WFC spawned actor. Yeah, it's spawned actor with nothing in it. Thank you very fucking much. That's my life right here. I'm trying to do something and it doesn't work out of the box, and I have to dig deep into why my blueprint actors are not being spawned in here. Is it not enough data to spawn shit or something? But then again, the output should really manage this. I just don't get it. I really don't. Oh no, don't save it. I need to get deep into the code. At least I think so. To get my answer for why it's not really spawning the things that I wanted it to. Boom, 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 boom. Here is where my wave function collapse had been. Yeah, button graph, really. I need some graph for button collapse. Yes. Get selected option, blah blah. It does freaking something. And then it triggers this function. Yep. Barabbas, we're going to your favorite fucking thing. Going through code. Let's fucking go. As Deadpool and Wolverine said, let's fucking go. I'm ready for this bullshit. Let's find out why my actors aren't spawning. Let's just fucking do this. Let's debug it. That's the life of a developer right here. You want to do something, it doesn't work out in experimental plugin, so you just debug this shit. Collapse. And let's debug this shit. Started random seed. There is. Yep, it properly calculated that it should have 16 cells. Exactly. What does initialize WFC mean? Build initial tile. Do you have initial tile? Not really. Unknown entropy 0. Remaining options 0. Let's go in here. Initial options. It's going through constraints. Option border. Option border. BP water tile. It found what it was searching for. Okay. And it has some Shannon entropy for that shit. And it has two options. It has my BP water tile or my grass tile. Great. Then why the fuck do you not spawn anything else? No starter options? What the hell? Pre-populate with border tiles. Border option, asset name, option border. I guess I'm not understanding fully how to prepare this data. Or do I? Could you show me? You cannot. Okay. But you generated one tile with your remaining options that are correct. Okay. So you will process the shit out of this thing. Okay. And we have all the tiles correctly selected. Yep. Try count. Successful solve. Should be true. Spawn actor from tiles. And this is where the magic happens. We will finally understand why the fuck it doesn't work out. And create component. Ah! Okay. I understand fucking everything. Okay. Yeah. But no. I thought my assumption and my hypothesis was that it works only with static meshes. Because it has a loaded object that is BP grass style, it tries to cast it to static mesh. Here it has a map of mesh components to their object paths. But no. It actually tries to, if BP is placeable. What? My blueprint is not placeable? How? Why? It's not placeable for real? Yeah, my blueprint for some reason is either abstract or not placeable. But why? Let's find it. Okay, and class defaults. There is no reason for it to not be. I can just set it as movable if that makes sense, but it doesn't. And click collapse once again. See if I'll be able to spawn the actor. I didn't, but what the flying fuck? I need to get in here. I need to really dig deep in here. Collapse. Okay, loaded object. I have my loaded object, which is BP grass style. It calculates its style position. Correct. It's not a static mesh, it is a blueprint. It tries to load it, and it did loaded it. Parent class is just a regular actor. Just a regular motherfucking actor. So what kind of bullshit problem do you have? Unable to load the object. But that doesn't show up in... Yeah. It makes no sense to me. It tries to spawn the thing for me, but for some reason it decides that blueprint is not placeable, even though it is placeable. It is a child of actor static class, a actor. I know that. I just fucking know that. Class flags. Okay, let's see if it has some weird class flag. Doesn't look like it. Constructed, intrinsic, has instance reference, minimal API, blah blah blah. It doesn't have class flag, any of these, so it wouldn't be found. So I have no idea what is going on. I might need a small break because my mind is right now kind of fucked up. It just makes, it doesn't make a lick of sense to me. It just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't display this message that, oh, unable to load object. For some reason my blueprint, I don't know why, is not getting through this. That would mean that it either has these flags, but it doesn't, I checked, or it's not a child of a actor, which is kinda fucking wild and impossible because it is a child of a actor. What the fuck, man? Why it wouldn't be placeable? I hate this. I hate this so much. Why? It should work. Why it doesn't work, I don't know. It doesn't feature flag, no. Can you search for flags in class defaults? No, not really. It's not an abstract class. And I can place it in level because I can just drag can just drag it and drop it, and here it is. All of my hopes and dreams are destroyed. And I don't know why. I don't know why, for real. Everything is correct up until the point it tries to spawn actor. Spawn my blueprint as a child actor. And it's just not happening. This here is not getting triggered, and I have no idea why. I have no idea why. It cannot go in here, even though it is a blueprint created here. Okay, I guess we have to go about it in a little bit different way. That I would have to look through. Or I would have to really understand why it's not going in here, because I just don't understand it. And it's deep within the engine, so I kind of want to change this code. Is there like a bug or something here? Blueprint is placeable on level because I just placed it. And it can be a child actor component. Let me just quickly... Is there something that maybe can... No, not really. We are really deriving from a actor. Yep. We are deriving from actor. So it is a child of, it doesn't feature those class flags yet. It doesn't just go there. It drives me nuts, I'll be honest. Because I just don't see it. I don't see why it wouldn't go here. Unless I'm mistaken, it's just something different that is fucked up here. But not really. The blueprint is being loaded and considered in a second. Yes, it goes through is child of. And it is a child of. And yet, it just doesn't go here. It drives me nuts. Where else it is being used? Wait a second. I have a strong suspicion that this class not placeable might be fucked up. That there might be an error in the plugin? That would be such a disappointment. Can I somehow display class flags? Okay, I cannot quickly find anything on the old internet. I guess that will be it for this part of the stream. A very unfortunate result. I was hoping that we could see something nice and beautiful here, but we don't. And I'll be honest, I'm kinda right now running out of fumes. I'm pretty sure that I set up my data correctly, and this is some code error, which I kinda hate, but whatever. But I can overcome this stuff, like to quickly generate something nice. Let's go here, there's static mesh water, let's just copy it, call it grass, right? And let's open it, save it. Let's just do this and put it here. What the fuck? This mesh isn't just a plane? It is. It just looks weird. That's all. Can I just not show the ground? Okay, yeah, whatever. And I can just do this, and instead of having this being a water tiles, I can just use those meshes and it will work out. But that's not kinda how I wanted to do this. So for sure, 100%, I will be trying to find out what the fuck is going on. With me not being able to spawn blueprint actors. Yeah, and let me just quickly save it. Let me just do, do this. Why you can't? Exactly. Exactly, and let me copy it once again. Great. And the same here. Here. And here. And let me change the resolution to 400. Now it will collapse it. Yep. And we have something visual going on. That's great and all, but I wanted to use actors. But okay, if there's some bug or something that doesn't allow for me to spawn blueprint actors. I will try to find why, but for now it will work out like this. So we have these patches of water, we have these patches of green, that's great. Let's maybe create some more. Let's create a patch of rough. Let's go with rough. Ah shit, I'm changing the content of the plugin. Ah, whatever. No, don't change the. Okay, I'm changing the. Okay, everything is fine. Yeah. What can I use for rough? Show me the money. This. I wish I could just turn off this ground. I don't want to see it because it's fucking up. How can I turn off? Okay, whatever. It can be this, and it will be some rough, and let me use the pink. Do we have something pink? Yeah, we have this. Yeah, we have something pink. So I can easily just go into here. Just copy it. Call it cherry. Yep. And use whatever I found there. And rocks, this. Use this here, and I can just quickly click through these assets, which would be for the first element. I need to add adjacency. No. I don't need to add agency. I need to add additional options. Here it will be. I fucked up. I fucked up. Let me quickly. Let me open up the cherry. This is cherry, and in rough, I want this to be this bamboo thingy. Oh, maybe this rock thingy. I'm sorry. This will be rough. And let's add SM rough. That's not what I want. SM rough and SM cherry. And let me quickly copy all of this shit. Yeah, you can work quickly through it if you don't need to have too much of logic to options, at least for now. I don't have the reason to do it. And let me add 2 additional elements. Oh, I cannot. All right. SM rough. You bitch. SM rough. Exactly. And let me copy all of that here, and let's see if it works out. It does works out. Yes, perfect. And another element. It is SM dash cherry.
And once again, let me copy this and paste it here with my super secret shortcut, motherfucker. And it goes like here and here. That's great. Let's delete this. Let's collapse it once again. And we have our messed up strategy game world. We can, I think I will delete this too and go like 20 by 20. And it created this whole, maybe let's go to a new map, new level. Don't save any changes here. Just collapse this, just collapse. Nothing collapsed. Oh yeah. 666, 15 by 15 by 1. And we have our strategy game like map without any logic to it for now. What I would do next is actually go on the next stream. I would actually go through all of this. Go through all of this and actually create some logic to it, that hey, water can be adjacent only to, for example, grass. Shit. Grass can be adjacent to everything, but pink can only be adjacent to grass and water. And maybe water can be adjacent to pink and grass, but rough can only be adjacent to my pink and my green. And it might generate a map that makes a little bit more, might make visually lick of sense. But as we can see, we can quickly generate stuff that way. And the other thing I really want to fucking chase down is why the hell I cannot use my tiles. I really am curious about that whole shit, because it kind of pisses me off that there's some small stupid issue with that. So that's, I want to have one additional stream connected to wave function collapse, where I will try to just finish this job here. Yep, but I think I will be ending it for today, I think. And I think, yes, I think it's the end. I'm out of energy for today, but I wanna do a fat stream every month. I am trying to, oh, my camera work is amazing. Every month I'm trying to do one fat stream where I'm streaming for longer than regular amount of time, which is like 2 hours to 3 hours depending on how much energy I have. And I wanna stream on Sunday, probably from 10:30 till 2:30 p.m. And it will be a fat stream. I want to finish this, and I want to go back to game design stream and finish the MVP phase of the game design there. If you don't know what the fuck am I talking about, I really encourage you to either check out my previous streams connected to game design, or just tune in Sunday. I will be doing that stuff, game design stuff. But for now, I think that will be it. We played some game for a little bit. We encountered the wave function collapse plugin in here. I tried to spawn some blueprint actors. It didn't work out. There might be some error in code, or I'm setting up something in a bad way. But if I use just static meshes, it works out. It just works out. The next stage I would do for that is to create PCG that would be sampling this thing and deciding, hey, I'm hitting rough, let me spawn a mesh that, you know, goes well with rough. Hey, I'm hitting water, let me spawn something on water. Hey, I'm hitting pink, let me spawn cherry blossom trees, right? Let me spawn grass here, etc, etc, etc. That's what I would do, at least for now. But without further ado, let me bid you adieu and say farewell, nada, and have a nice evening, nice rest of the day, or what have you. Bye bye, see you on Sunday.